Possible danger this upcoming weekend. Let's talk about it. Thank you for watching, for liking the video, shooting that thumbs up, and for subscribing to the channel. It's truly appreciated. Let me take this off so I don't look like a cat burglar this morning, son. Thank you also to Andy Ellis, Robin Muncie, and Angela Sawyer. I appreciate the support here on the channel. A couple of y'all sent notes and along with that, and I got them. Thank y'all very much. So it's a late video this morning. I do apologize. Just a hectic schedule today. And for those that tune into the afternoon videos, probably going to be later on this evening. The whole day's crazy, but I digress. This morning, we're talking about possible danger here in the United States this weekend and abroad. Now, I got to give credit where it's due. Somebody mentioned this in the afternoon chat, the rundown yesterday. I didn't know anything about it. I went back. Funky Prepper was talking about it, so I'm not sure if he's the first one to talk about it or not, but I got to give the man credit where it's due, okay? I went back and watched the video. Excellent video. So major protests are scheduled around the world this Friday. Pro-Palestinian protests and also major counter protests. Your pro-Israel protest, if you will. These are excuse me, these are scheduled for cities, major cities around the world. Again, Friday the 13th of all days, right? And these are potential flashpoints for danger. Again, with those cities, I understand people are tied like ball and chains to cities for whatever reason. Maybe that's where the opportunity's at. Maybe that's where the money's at. Maybe, there are a lot of things you can do in a city that you cannot do in rural America. But I do question at what cost. What are you trading for that luxury and stuff like that? So to each their own. I get it. Half of the United States essentially lives in a major city, but if you're in a major city, keep your head on a swivel. All right, and I need to say this because I believe in everybody's right to protest. I don't care if somebody's watching this video and they disagree with me on everything. They can hate me. They can disagree with every single viewpoint that I have. I still believe in their right to protest peacefully. Peacefully is the key word here. Yes, grab a bullhorn, get you a sign, and go march. You have the right. Our men and women in uniform have given you that right, and they've kept that right for you and for me and for everybody else. Peaceful protesting. But the reason there's a danger here is both sides. This is a very divisive topic. I saw this in the comments here at Prepper Nation yesterday. People that typically get along, they've already tribalized. They're either pro-Gaza and pro-Palestinian or they're pro-Israel in the comments. And I refuse, excuse me, good Lord, I refuse to take that bait. I'm pro-American and I'm pro whoever's not hurting children. That's my viewpoint on it. But I'm not taking the bait. I'm not getting sucked into, you're either with us or you're with them. But a lot of people are, a lot of people have, and these people are going to be on both sides. They're going to have hardened stances and they're going to be furious during these protests. And so if you're pro-Palestinian and you're protesting, let's say in New York City, again, this is happening in all major cities, or at least it's being called for by the Palestinians in all major cities in Islam. And you're looking 10 feet away and you're seeing people that are counter protesting you. There's a potential for violence here. All right. Because these two groups of people, they just cannot get along peacefully. And so police, of course, are on heightened alert and everything like that. And so just be mindful. If you're in a city, now this is not going to affect people in rural America. I don't think you're going to see major protests. This is, again, going to be confined to cities. Most of the flashpoints typically are, which is why I would not want to be in a city. But again, I digress. If you're in a city for whatever reason, this Friday, please be mindful, especially if there are protests planned in said city, that things can go sideways into a ditch very, very fast. So at least be mindful and be prepared in case that were to happen. Um, I tell you, I was driving home this morning, again, running late. Sorry, don't get me, y'all. But I was listening to the radio, which is rare. I normally don't. I usually have CDs going because it's all morning chatter and commercials and stuff, and I hate that. But I was listening to the radio, and a news report came on. They do this news report on the local radio stations, I guess, every morning or whatever, and they're updating people on what's going on. And as I'm listening to this radio program, I'm thinking, my God, you know, it's up to now 375,000 troops have been called up and are being mobilized in Israel. This is on top of, I believe, their regular army. I don't have it in front of me, but I'm thinking that it's sitting around 170,000 that they have ready to go at all times. So we're getting to the better part of 500,000 troops. All right. And as I'm listening to this, they start talking about Gaza, the Gaza Strip. The Gaza Strip is now without power. They had one power plant that was running without Israel's help. Now this is out of power. And so these people are essentially sitting in the dark with hundreds of thousands of troops on their border. ah, they're running out of food. They're running out of water. They're running out of medication. And I would gamble to say, I don't know this, it's speculation on my part, but most of them are not preppers. You know, I'm sure there are a few, but most people are just not prepared for what is happening to them right now. You know, again, take whatever side you want. I really don't care, but rockets are hitting neighborhoods now. Israel's straight hitting neighborhoods. They're hitting schools. For anybody that doesn't know, now they're saying officially, there may be truth to this, I don't know. They're saying Hamas is going into schools. They're purposely going into neighborhoods. They're trying to use this as a form of human shields, and Israel's not having it. You know, they've said this outright. The first U.S. military aid arrived late last night. Munitions on top of what we already have there, on top of the carrier strike group. Planes began to land filled with military aid. Zelensky is in Brussels right now, and he's trying to convince other countries to send Ukraine more money in their war against Russia. Folks, this is World War III. This is how it's playing out. We're leaving history right now. And if you can't see that, if you can't see all of these wars happening, worth mentioning as well, Israel is now striking targets in Lebanon. They say Hamas is set up inside Lebanon across the border. They're hitting them inside Lebanon. I mean, this thing is just a tinderbox that is exploding at this point. But if you can't see that we're in World War III right now, you are delusional. If you have a spouse that cannot see that we are in World War III, they're delusional. People need to wake up. And a lot of people have, I think. But the issue is they're waking up and there's no time really to prepare because we're going to start to see the fallout from wartime economies and shortages very, very soon. How do you prep when there's hard limits in place on everything? This is going to be a reality for a lot of zombies who are waking up and saying, oh, there's there's something to that prepping after all. I'm glad I'm awake. And then they go to the store and there's no bottled water. They go to the store and the canned food is being wiped out. I've already heard from you folks yesterday in chat. Thank you. Some people were talking about, I forget who it was. Please forgive me, but a couple of people were chatting back and forth about car parts being almost impossible to find right now because of the strikes and things. Other people were leaving comments and said they don't even check for over-the-counter medicines at Walmarts and things anymore because there's never any. When they go, all of the common stuff is not there. So these new people that are waking up to prepping, number one, welcome. Be sure you hit like and subscribe on the channel if you're brand new here. But number two, God be with you, because where have you been? I don't understand what's taking so long. I'm glad you're awake, but man, you're behind the 8 ball at this point, because again, we're in World War III. Now let me shift over. I was having a conversation with my buddy Chad late yesterday evening, last night on Patreon. We have these conversations from time to time, and he predicts things, and to his credit, he's typically right. 9 times out of 10, he's right. And he sent a message on Patreon, and he was quoting Lord Eagle. So Lord Eagle, if you're listening, he caught a comment, and you were talking about American forces being spread thin yesterday. And I was saying, well, they're going to hit us at some point. And Chad was talking about us being spread thin. Is it possible, or maybe Lord Eagle had mentioned this, is it possible we're being spread thin so globalists can inject the United States of America with blue helmets, with the UN soldiers? And I replied and I said, it's a scary thought, but it's possible. When I saw that message come across, and I stepped back and I looked at everything and I said, we're flooding the border with illegals. We have been for years. Biden didn't seem to care. He couldn't be bothered with it. Kamala Harris couldn't be bothered with it. When they did go to the border, near the border, they got all of the illegals out of there. They made it look like Mayberry down there, son. So it didn't look like there was an issue. The governors at the southern border, they were being overwhelmed. So they're like, we're just going to bust these illegals into major cities. We're tired of it. This continued to happen, and then mayors began to say of these sanctuary cities, we're overwhelmed. We can't take it anymore. Illegals are welcome here. You are immigrants. You're not illegal, son. Come here. But now we're overwhelmed. My God, what are we going to do? Airports, hotels are being used up. What are we doing here? Sporting venues and things. It's very possible that this has been done on purpose and that we are over deployed militarily speaking. So our buffoon thief in chief can point to the over deployment that he and his generals have caused, by the way, and say, you know what? We don't have enough men and women in uniform. We don't have enough National Guard. Our recruiting numbers are way down as it is, and they're all deployed, but we need help. And it's very possible at some point our president is going to get on TV and plead to the United Nations, please come help us. Please, we need peacekeeping blue helmets in these major cities. I'm telling you, something is up, and I think my boy Chad is right on this. It's just a thought, but it's a scary one. Because if he gets on TV and he's pleading for help from the UN, man, this is the wet dream of the WEEF, as we like to call them. I had somebody chastise me yesterday, son. It's the WEF, not the WEEF. It's the WEEF here, son. They don't deserve the respect to be called proper names like the WEF. No, it's the WEEF. But again, I digress. The point is, that's a wet dream for them. They get to send their private army into the United States at that point, and they get to seize the United States of America. It's not legal, but they'll find a way to spin it as such. Y'all let me know what you think in the comments. Take care and God bless.